So memory is illusory. Most of us believe that, and this is kind of cool, but, you know, there's also problems that come up, that when we remember something, we're remembering how the event actually happened. But what we're actually remembering is the last time we remembered it, or we're sort of replaying that thought along with the connotations and feelings that may have been added on down the line and may have garbled or obscured the message. We're not actually remembering the original. And so this is hilarious. This is exactly the point of the telephone game that we play with kids. So if I whisper, we're going to have an ice cream sundae party at school in the first kid's ear, and then they whisper it to each other all down the line, and the last kid hears, we're going to start to have school on Sunday, then some of the kids down the line might start to feel off. They might start to believe that the message was actually garbled. And so that's where we are. So a lot of the words, the very words that we use, the message has changed so very much. But there's a tool on the internet called etymology that you can look up, just like you can, like before we had those huge dictionaries that you had to carry around. Now you can have the definition and how the definition has changed over time from its original meaning. So when you're speaking to yourself, or when you hear yourself saying something that comes out of a place of feeling less than great, look at the language you've chosen and maybe look up the etymology of it, or just see how possibly the language is actually talking about something very physical. So one thing that you'll start to see with etymology is that the original meanings would start out to mean something very material or physical or basic. Like there's one word root, to throw, that comes up a lot. So to exclude or to throw something away from yourself. And I love the analogy of boomerangs that we forgot we threw. And when they come back and hit us, we're surprised. And that's exactly what emotional guidance is. That's exactly what's meant by negative emotion. We feel it. But if you're ready to catch those boomerangs, it's fun. It's a joy. And when you know that the telephone game, the point of it is to garble the message and then see the clarity of it in a fun way, you appreciate the punchline. You're there for the punchline. We're looking for the punchline. I will settle for nothing less than the punchline. And etymology is a great tool for that. So the word depression originally meant the angular distance, or such and such, look it up, I encourage you to, of stars below the horizon that we can't see because we can only see so many stars, and the amount of stars we can see is 360 degrees all around, but we are apparently limited by the horizon and location. And yet now depression means something else entirely. The word cringe that my kids use every single day, that we use as a word to so often keep ourselves from creating something because it might be cringe, means to turn back on itself. It's always the boomerangs. It's always coming back to you. And the punchline is that there isn't anything there. There isn't anything there that the boomerang can hit, can come up across, unless we believe. And that's the original obscured message. It's like the soul S-O-L-E, S-O-U-L, the soul. But as soon as there's one, there's an exclusion, and there's not me, and so there are two. There's not one. And that's why non-duality. That's why it's not two. Because we can't say one, can't say soul. So the easiest way to do this is simply to write. I like the computer, pen and paper, doesn't matter. If you can get the words so they don't seem to be inside your head, outside, and look at them, it's much, much easier to see what kind of language you're using. And even without having to go through all the etymology stuff, you'll see that you often use words like, it's heavy, it feels heavy, or it's hard. And all of these kind of point to the material, the physical, which what the material and the physical is creation. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's not that we have dogmatic non-duality and we say, oh, I like apples, and we come back and say, there's no you, and there's no apples, and how do you think you just made bananas feel with that statement? It's like a collage. You have scissors and you have glue to create the collage, but you know not to cut your finger or to use super glue to glue your hand to your head, probably, because feeling. So it's only a problem when there's suffering, feeling, emotional guidance, and thank God we know when we're doing that. There's also, it's no reflection on you where you're standing in the line of the telephone game or what you've heard. But when you believe that you're going to have to start to go to school on Sunday, hearing the emotional guidance and not having to wait for the manifestation of the real message. Because here's the thing, there is no real, original, clear, unobscured message. Yes, we have insights, beautiful, glaring insights. It seems like that. There's the punchline, there's the hilarity, but there really is no message. And that's the creation of it. And that's the message.